guys, welcome on this new Coach Live Academy guide. I'm Corentin Guinez, and today we're here for week 8 of the Falcon Sports Car Series, and we're gonna drive the AMG GT4 around Donington National. So as usual, first I'm gonna go with the hot lap, and then we're gonna go together into more details about the combo. So yep, let's get started. Okay guys, so here we go for the lap around Donington with the AMG. And here comes T1, just looking at the blue part first, which is the on the right side of the exit road. And I just gonna look at the end of this. And then as you can see, going all the way on the left side of the track, going a bit on the blue part, which is fine, but just make sure you don't run too much of this because then you can get a slowdown. And it's the same for the exit of the pit exit road. If you just go too deep on this part, then you're gonna get a slowdown if you are on the racetrack and not exiting the pit road, obviously. So as you can see, just gonna brake on the edge of this. So when it ends, I'm just gonna start to brake. As you can see on the brake, big braking zone with the MJ, I would say that it's a bit better to use full brake instead of the others. You can feel a bit less the ABS, even if you can still feel the ABS because you can see the bubble lights. But still, like, you can go a bit easier fully on the brakes because it brakes a bit better, in my opinion. So then, as you can see, just also looking at this when I'm braking, just making sure that I can stay as close as I can from this, even if the goal there is not to really run the line at the end, which is what I'm pointing right now. But then, like I show you, close of this, and then at that point you can really put a bit more steering, or at least aiming a bit more for the apex. The idea there is to avoid the very inside of this curbing because it's really bouncy actually, and it's not the ideal with the GT4 most of the time, especially in the slow corner like this where you don't have a lot of speed. The car tends to be a bit more unstable sometimes. So the idea is to get the curbing, but not fully on the inside to avoid that bounce. So I will just go a bit backward slowly. As you can see on the brakes, just releasing the brakes to find the rotation, dropping to second. Now going early on power to find the rotation because from now the brake won't be enough to find the rotation, and because I will need to find the momentum on the exit. So as you can see, as soon as I'm on the curbing, going back on power, I will show you from the outside, just avoiding the very inside of the curbing. So if you are too deep on the inside, you're gonna get the bounce. I don't know if there is a camera to show you. I think it should be around there, but I think if you really go with your inside wheels on the edge, then you're gonna bounce. But I'm not really sure where it is. But the idea there is to not go too deep on the inside, and as you can see, if I go slow, the car is not moving at all, not bouncing at all. So yeah, just keep it clean, just keep it on the curbing, but just stay away from the edge. In my opinion, that's where it's gonna make you bounce the car. And then as you can see, just trying to make sure that I'm smooth on the exit, not trying to go too quickly on power, obviously, to avoid the wheel spin and avoid any sideways moment. So as you can see, second, and then you can short shift to third if you feel that the car is getting a bit sketchy. But with second, you should be fine if you went smoothly on power. But third gear is fine anyway. For the exit, just make sure you don't run too wide and don't run onto the grass, but you can still use the bit of tarmac, or if you call you can call this tarmac on the left side of the blue and white curbing, it's fine. But then if you go too wide and you go over this limit, then you're gonna lose traction, and obviously I think you should get enough track as well. So just make sure you can keep a bit of a margin on the exit and not run too wide. So basically this part is the really last bit of tarmac you can use on the exit of T1. So now I'm gonna move to the right side, so basically just to shorten the distance. Gonna use this curbing, which is not really not a huge thing basically, but it still make you gain some time. I don't know if you gain a lot of time, but at least to shorten the distance. Same for this one, close of the curbing, but not really using the curbing. And now, as you can see, it's completely blind. So when it's at that point where you are almost on top of the crest, it's at that time you have to steer to the left. So as you can see, as soon as I'm leaving this kind of kink, from now I'm steering to the left, and then you're gonna slowly see the apex. So at that point you will be able to put a bit more or maybe a bit less of steering angle depending of where you are, obviously, because yeah, as you can see from now it's blind. But like I told you, when you're leaving this fast right, from now starting to turn to the left, and now I see that I need more steering angle. So you see that at that point putting more steering angle because I need more steering angle to make the corner. And the idea at the exit of on the exit of this one, obviously this one is fully flat, and at the exit of this one, the idea is to be as much as you can on the left side, because you're gonna have to be on the left to prepare the next fast right. So as you can see, just trying to stay on the right, looking at the board on the left side with the arrow going on the right, and then at that point going on the brake, just trying to not brake too much from this on this at this time, just trying to avoid the ABS obviously, and I just avoid this time going fully on the brake, because if I go on the brake fully, I will get the ABS like T1, but this time I really need to make sure I can have the rotation all the way. At T1, for example, you can apply a lot of braking at the beginning, because you kind of need to go straight at the beginning. You don't need to find the rotation really at the beginning of the braking. But there I really need to find the braking, because as you can see, you really need almost to steer all the way to the right side, because from now I need to steer to the right, because if I keep it straight, I will go on the gravel and finish in the gravel and then on the tire wall. But yeah, on this one I need to keep a bit of a margin, maybe 90 on 85, 80% on the brake, because yeah, I need to find the rotation. So like you can see, just keeping a bit of a margin, not going fully on the brake, using a bit of the curbing right there on the outside. And then when I'm reaching the curbing, at that point I need to steer to the right, keeping a bit of braking, but not as much as the beginning, because from now I really need to find the rotation. Before I needed to slow down a bit more the car, but I still needed a bit of rotation obviously, but I mainly needed to slow down the car at the beginning, so I went a bit more on the brake. But now I did slow down a bit enough the car, I would say, at the beginning. So from now I can release and maximize a bit more the rotation with the brake. So as you can see, releasing the brake, and then from now trying to manage between the brake and the power, because from now I need to find the momentum on the exit. So as you can see, going a bit backwards. So on the brake, going on the curbing, from now I'm releasing the brake, turning it a bit more, and from now I'm just trying to find the right momentum. So basically not trying to go too slow, and at the same time not trying to go too fast. Gonna get the curbing on the apex, just avoid to go on the dirt or gravel or whatever it's called on the inside, because then when you will rejoin the track, you're gonna go across this edge, and it will most likely make the rear very bouncy. So basically the rear will go just sideways, and you're gonna lose all the grip, and it's gonna be terrible for the exit. So the idea there is just to get the very edge of the curbing, but without going on the dirt, and then rejoining the track, which makes, like I said, the rear snaps or something. So yeah, it's really terrible for the exit. And then just trying to not go too wide on the exit. So from now, just going on the throttle, third gear. And then, like I said, it's pretty much like T1. The very last bit of track you're gonna use is the tarmac, I will call it like that, which is on the left side of the actual curbing, the blue and white curbing. So then if you go too wide, it's still, it might not be enough track, because if you put like half a wheel yeah, it's, I will call it dirt, but yeah, if you go half a wheel in this dirt, it's fine. You might not get the off track, but from now I think it might be slower, because iRacing made changes with the gravel, grass, and stuff. So now it might be a bit slower, in my opinion. That's why you should only stick with this bit of tarmac on the left side of the curbing. But yeah, just make sure you're not running too wide, at least to not get the off track. But yeah, still, if you can avoid the dirt on the left, it's better, in my opinion. So going back into the cockpit, so doing back at it, doing going back at the action, and as you can see, on the curbing, full on power, and from now it's full on power. So now going a little bit back in the middle of the corner of the track, but then going back on the very inside of this one, you can almost go across the gravel. I think that's what I'm doing. With the speed, you don't really feel that it's going slower. I'm gonna go with that camera, it's gonna be better. So as you can see, just basically going through the gravel, it's fine. It makes you gain a bit of time, but I'm not even sure, it's just too very short on the distance. But yeah, obviously this is all flat out. Just do not go too deep on the inside, because then you can get enough track. And then you move fully to the right side, almost going on the curbing. And then from now, you just gonna look at the curbing and then just follow this line. Basically, the curbing just sets the line for the next corner. So as you can see, just going on the curbing as soon as it begins, and then you're gonna have that. You can or check the board on the left side, or check the curbing to begin to brake. Basically, for me, the best is to look at the curbing, because it's the closest of the track. Because then, if you look at the board, the vision is gonna be away from the track, and it's gonna be in the opposite of where you should look, actually. Because as you can see, the next corner is the right one. So if you need to turn to the right and you look at the left, it's gonna be difficult to really follow the line and be focused on the next corner. And obviously, because where the car wants to go where you are looking. I don't know if it's really the same in the sim, but in real life, if you look at the right, you will by instinct go a bit more to the right. So yeah, for this one, I would advise to just look at the curbing and not at the board, because it's away from the where you are going. So as you can see, just when the curbing ends, just going on the brake. From now, I can go a bit harder on the brake at the beginning, because as you can see, it's still going a bit straight, but I will quickly need to release the brake to find the rotation. So as you can see, fully on the brake, then releasing because I need to find the rotation, steering to the right, staying a bit in the middle of the track as well, because if I go too early on the for the apex, then I'm gonna lose time on the exit, because I need to carry a lot of speed on the exit. But yeah, if I basically go too early on the for the apex, I will lose a chance to really carry the speed on the exit. So as you can see, just using the brake to find the rotation, not too early on the apex, and as you can see, just going for the power really early. As you can see, when I'm getting close of the first, you can call this the first of the two apex, even if you don't really make two apex on this one, but it's the I would say the closest point of the middle of the track, which is right there. Basically, I don't know how you can really call this, but yeah, it's the deepest point on the track, if I can call it like that. I hope it's fine to call this like that. But yeah, at this point right there, it's the point when I'm going back on power to find the rotation, then trying to find the momentum. For this one, just staying with the third gear all the way. It's a third gear corner, so just do not drop to second, because you're gonna lose time, and because you might make the car a bit unstable. So just stay with third, and from now just managing the power. As you can see, playing a lot with the steering, because it can be a bit sketchy. on this one. That's why you should not put second, because then you will add some power on the rear axle and basically just might get a bit of wheel spin. And as you can see, even with third gear, I'm playing a lot with the steering to keep the car straight, stable. So yeah, if you put second, then it's gonna be a bit difficult to find a traction on the exit. And as you can see, just using as much track as I can, so it's the same everywhere, just using the curbing. And at the latest, you can use the tarmac on the exit, but not much more than that. And then we will approach one of the most difficult corner of the track for me, because it's very difficult because you cannot see the exit, but at the same time it's a very crucial corner because you need to carry a lot of speed, and because behind you have a straight, which is very important, because if you don't carry enough speed in this corner, then you're gonna lose time all the way on the straight. So for this one, just going on the curbing, and I'm gonna brake close to the I don't know if it's really there is really a bump or whatever it's called there, but I think it's the beginning of the uphill section for me. Like you can pretty much match what I'm calling to the with the tire marks on the tarmac. So just looking at this, and as you can see, close of the beginning of the tire marks, which is for me, I think you can almost brake in the middle of the curbing from now. As you can see, you have the horizon, which is right there, the beginning of the curbing, so it's almost in the middle. So for me, the reference would be the tire mark, or maybe for me, I can see the beginning of the hill, but it depends of your own vision. If you think that the beginning of the hill begins right there, you can think that way. But for me, it feels like the hill is going steeper from that point. So I'm braking at that point. For me, it's my reference, but then you have another reference, which is the tire marks. Or then you can think that, okay, this is the middle of the hill, if you think that the beginning is here, so you can start to brake at this point. So yeah, it's your own point. Like if you, whatever you think. For me, the best is to brake in the middle of this, or at the beginning of the tire marks, or then at the beginning of the steepest, when it's going steeper, for the uphill. So as you can see on the brake, not braking too much because as you can see, I'm already steering a bit to the right because I need to find the rotation already to make the corner. I'm not gonna drop to second. I don't think I'm dropping to second for this one, staying with third gear. As you can see on the brake, and from now you can almost see the apex. So that's why I'm starting to raise the brake, because I see the point. I see that from now I can carry the speed. So as you can see, just looking at the apex, and I'm looking a bit more than the apex actually, because as you can see, I'm really gonna use a lot of the track. This is not enough track, by the way. This was not enough track, which means that if you basically run onto the grass, it's gonna be for me the track limit. But like that, I didn't I didn't lose any time actually. It shortened the distance, and it helps me a bit to carry the speed, because if I just stay on the curbing like that, if I stay on the curbing, just the simple curb, which is the blue and white one, then it means that I'm gonna go wider on the exit, and I'm gonna lose momentum on the exit, because I may have to slow down on the exit to avoid to go off the track, with the fact that I need to put more steering angle, obviously, because now with that it means that I need to put more steering angle, because obviously the corner will be tighter that way if you get the curb and not going for the gravel on the, or the dust or the dirt, no, whatever it's called on the inside. So that's why that if you go wide, you're gonna lose time. But if you use the very inside instead, you're gonna be able to open the steering a bit more, maybe being a bit more stable on the traction on the exit, because with the less steering angle you're putting, you're gonna be able to be a bit more comfortable with the throttle, for example. So yeah, for the idea there is to really go very deep on the inside, in my opinion, because yeah, then if you go too wide on for the apex, then you're gonna have to put more steering angle, which means maybe a bit less stable car on the exit. So yeah, going back on the braking, as you can see on the brakes, as soon as I'm on top of the crest, just releasing the brake. from now just trying to play a bit with the brake to find the right line. But from now need to find the momentum again, just going back on power to find the rotation, going for the dust on the inside, and from now just playing a bit with the power. Also for the exit of this one, I'm just trying to stay as much as I can from the inside to shorten the distance. It's the fastest way to make this one, in my opinion, instead of going really wide. I don't think you can maybe carry a bit more speed if you go wide, because obviously then from now I could go full power and then get the curbing on the exit. But for me, it feels like it's almost the same and maybe even a bit faster on the inside. So yeah, for me, best way is to make it on the inside, because you gain some time. I'm gaining some time actually, comparing to the wide line. So yeah, for me, best is the to shorten the distance and use the tighter line. As you can see, the tighter line doesn't mean getting the cup there. So yeah, for me, tight is to stay in the first of the first half of the track. Sorry, staying in the first half of the track. Because yeah, then if you go wide, you're gonna use the second half of the track. But for me, it's gonna be slower. So as you can see, just trying to stay in the first half of the track, and then just trying to get the curbing on the exit. Just trying to not go too wide, but like this, it's fine. To be honest, there is a very low chance to go wide if you use the tight line. So as you can see, fully on power, third gear, and I don't know if I used second for this one. No, I didn't. So like I told you before, the corner, it's just a third gear corner, and then using all of the curbing. And now we approach the second trickiest part of the track, with mainly with the sausage, which makes it a bit tricky. Before it was because of the blind corner, but now it's because of the sausage. So for this one, I'm gonna brake, I think, a bit before the. I think there is 3 boards. Yeah, there is 3 boards, maybe 4. No, just 3 boards. So I'm basically looking first at the second one, which is on the right side, which is fine because actually, if you look at the board, your vision can see the apex and also the exit, so you can see the whole sector actually by just looking at the board. So just looking at the board, also looking obviously in front of me, because if I don't look in front of me, I will not see the apex, which is obvious. But yeah, I still need to give some look at this board to see where I'm about to brake. And I'm just gonna brake, I think, 5 meters after the board, or maybe, I don't know, just a few meters after. Just braking basically when I'm close of the beginning of the tire marks, which is the closest of the left side, because as you can see, you already have tire marks on the right side. But for me, it seems like it begins on the left at that point. You can see that the tire marks right there begins at that point and not earlier. So for me, I'm just looking at this to brake, and I'm gonna brake a bit before that. So when the bonnet is close of this bit of tire mark, at that point I'm gonna start to brake. So if I look behind, yeah, I think it's maybe it's 5 meters or so. There is maybe 5 meters or so between the beginning of the beginning of the board and the bonnet, I would say. But yeah, just a few meters between the car and the board, and you can jump on the brake, or then you can do my way, just looking at the tarmacs on the ground, even if it's not ideal, because sometimes depending of the weather, if you have cloud or not, you can maybe miss this part of the track. Maybe if it's a bit darker on the track, you will miss the tire marks. I don't really know. I'm not sure of that, but if you're not sure, just look at the board, just brake a bit after that, maybe 4 or 5 meters after the board, and then you should be fine anyway. The idea there, you will see, is to really nail what I'm gonna show you from now. So as you can see, just on the brakes, just keeping the brakes until I'm reaching the board right there. Obviously, you will struggle to see that if you have single screen, but if you have triple, it's easier to see that. So if I can show you, when I'm going past this board, I'm just gonna release the brake. So if I show you that from the exit, like this, maybe I'm a bit too close of the car, so if I put it like that, it should be better. Okay, so as you can see, just stay on the brake, and as soon as I'm getting past this board, I will just getting past or being close. It's both, to be honest. As soon as I'm getting close or getting past of the board, I'm just gonna start to release the brake, turn in, and from now I will try to to reach the sausage on the inside. But if I go back, I don't know if there is a point where you can really start, if you can really see something, if you have a single screen. Maybe if you use the wall on the right side, but I'm not sure if it does match or not actually. No, it does not really match actually, but yeah, it's tough to say. Yeah, maybe if you look at the edge of the screen, you can see that it's getting on the curbing, and maybe it's getting on the sausage actually. Yeah, it's a bit difficult to see it like that, but if you have single screen, for me the easiest point to look at, because then, or maybe, yeah, there is 2 points. I think if you look at the edge of the wall, it's gonna go behind the roll cage. I think it should go behind the roll cage. Or then, if you have another reference for the single screen, you can look at the edge of the screen and you can look at the sausage. But I think you're gonna have to turn slightly before these two reference, in my opinion, because if I check that, as you can see, yeah, the wall is behind the roll cage and I'm already starting to turn in. And I'm close to the sausage, so if I go close to the sausage, okay, from now on, I'm starting to brake. So there is two reference you can use, maybe if you have single screen. The sausage, so when the edge is reaching the sausage, you can go on the brake. And when but same, it's away from where you're supposed to do, so it's not maybe the best reference, but it's one of the two references you could use. Then you have the wall, and when it goes behind the sausage, I'm starting to turn in, but I'm not braking. So you have two different references. It's up to you to use them or not, but yeah, at least if it can help you to find two references if you have single screen, it's better. But yeah, back to the triple screen now, that I'm using. So basically, when I'm going a bit past, or when it's I'm going close of the last board, as you can see, turning in, going on the brakes, trying to find the rotation. What I'm doing there is that I'm gonna use all the sausage with my right wheels. So what I'm doing is that I'm going stay away from the curbing with the left wheels, but I'm going to use all of the curbing except with the two left wheels, because I need to make sure that I'm not putting the car in a bad momentum, because if I take the curbings with all the wheels, it's gonna be very unstable. I'm not even sure you can stay on the track actually by doing that, and I'm sure you're gonna get the off track anyway. But yeah, what you need to do for this one is that you need to stay at least with the left wheels on the track, and on the curbing actually. So if I use chase and I'm going a bit behind, as you can see, using a lot of curbing, but with the left wheels, makes the car it makes the car stay a bit more stable, in my opinion. So yeah, the best way to do it is to do it like that, not going fully on the curbing and making the car very unstable and stuff. The idea there is to really keep two safe point on the track, which is the two left wheels, because yeah, if you are too greedy on the inside, then you're gonna make the car very unstable. And also the idea there is to get a lot of curbing, because then it gives you a better line for the exit of the chicane. Because for example, if I avoid the curbing with the right wheels, I will use the blue and white curbing, which means I will have the car very stable, which is good actually, because then you can make sure that you can take it safe. But this means that I'm gonna have to slow down a lot more, because if I don't take this, I gonna have to put a lot more steering angle, because basically it's gonna get tightened from now. So first I'm gonna lose a lot of momentum, and then I'm gonna have to put more steering angle again to the left, because I'm gonna have to make the corner. And because if I don't put more steering angle, and if I don't slow down the car more, I'm gonna go wide on the exit. So that's why for me using more curbing is better, especially if you make it right, because then you're gonna be able to carry a lot of speed through the chicane. So I'm going back to the beginning to show you all the way how I made that. So basically just releasing the brake when I'm getting past the board on the right. And then I'm gonna quickly go back to the power. Basically for me, it felt better if I stay on power because it keeps the car on a momentum, which makes it stable. Because then if you release everything, the car will lose momentum and will lose some sort of stability also, in my opinion. So the best way for me is to keep a bit of power because first it keeps the momentum and then it keeps for me the car a bit more stable. Because then if you go on off on power, the weight of the car, the weight balance will change and it might get a bit messy in my opinion. So that's why I'm going back on power because first need to keep the momentum and because for me it keeps the balance of the car through the curbing. So as you can see, not changing that much the power input. That's why it felt a bit it felt stable actually. And from now it's just about power, just getting a bit of sausage but not that much because you don't want to upset the car too much. So maybe just getting the edge of the sausage is enough. And then it's just about getting the curbing on the exit, putting fourth gear on the exit, and then we good for the lap around Donington, crossing the line, and that's it for the lap around Donington with the AMG GT4. Alright guys, we good for today. I hope you learned a bit from this video with the AMG GT4 and Donington for the Falcon Sports Car Series Week 8. Yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel and join the Discord server if you have any questions about the work we are making. And yeah, I see you for Week 9. Bye bye.